All right. I will call this meeting of the Board of Trustees to order for July 24, 2024. Will everyone please rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of silence. And thank you. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Cindy Simpson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Brett Porter.
Here.
Trustee Richard Tokar.
Here.
Trustee David Payton.
Here.
Trustee Daniel Hennig.
Here.
Trustee Andreas Esparza. Trustee McMahon.
They have excused absences. All right. I look for a motion to approve the agenda for tonight.
I'll make a
Motion to approve the agenda by staff.
second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. I look for a motion to approve the minutes of July 10, 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of July 10th, 2024 as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Audience business, there is no audience. And just in case someone is invisible, there are no names on the sheet. So,
They used invisible ink.
yeah, yeah, they use invisible ink. All right. So, moving on to announcements, I have one. I just want to make sure because I found this like soaking wet in my front yard. So, I don't know if y'all got this, but we're invited to the Mancus Commons grand opening July 27, 2 to 7 p.m. At 143 Grand. And the dedication will be at 5 if you want to kind of plan for that. And then I think that's all I have. Oh, you have, this, right. So our marshal's office uses Lexipol for their software. Correct me if I get any of this wrong. And so for the second year in a row, they have received recognition for through the Lexipol Connect recognition program for, let's see, it's the silver standard, right? Yeah. And then, so they measure things like policy updates, and they have all this measuring information that you can look and how we can influence that as a town, how the marshal's office can do that. So they do policy updates that are pending, policies issued, policies acknowledged, and then there's like training that they need to take to, keep up with all their certifications and everything, and, communications and all those kinds of things. And so there's bronze, silver, and gold. And so for the 2 years that we've been doing this, because we just bought Lexipol a few years ago, right?
It's actually been quite a while.
Oh, has
It's
it?
only been since Justin took over that we received.
Right. I knew it was something recent because we had never earned this kind of recognition. And so I just wanted to take a minute and say thank you, Justin, and I would love to present you with this lovely plaque. And Justin is very motivated to go for the gold.
Which I love, because it's the Olympics.
They can give them speech.
Speech.
The goal is gonna be actually really hard for us to get, because we do our, the DBTs, which is daily training bulletin, is, that we use police one instead of the, and so gold's gonna be tough for me to get it, but the silver, happy with, I guess. But no hard law behind the new office.
Cool. Thank you, Justin.
We'll also get a logo, things like this, that we can put on.
Sweet. Yeah. Well, yeah. So I just wanted to thank.
Did he say all the work you have in the new marshal's office in 5 years? Oh.
When it's done. After it's painted. So anyway, just thank you and your staff for really striving for excellence. Really appreciate it. Yeah. All right. Any other announcements?
Jerry has some announcements.
Okay.
Vegas Days is this weekend. So come out in your wine shirts. And we will have street closures around town. So just be aware of those. The main one's gonna be Park Street. It's gonna be closed tomorrow morning. It'll be all the way through Sunday.
Okay.
And our second town-wide cleanup is August 17th and 18th, 8 to 5. And yard waste will be 18th, 8 to noon.
And then, I'm sure you all noticed that the marshal's office building has actually started going up.
Yeah.
And, our water plant project is basically complete. There are 2 items that are currently being finished over there, but we've advertised for notice of final payment to the contractor. So phase 1, which was the plant itself, and disinfection and SCADA, and then replacement of an old water tank is done. We were fully funded and I believe under budget, but don't quote me on that. But we did not go over budget. So phase 2, which is the filtration system, Terry and I will start discussing that in 2025. Now, we're going to switch focus and start focusing on wastewater treatment. So that project is basically completely finished.
So what we're gonna do on cleanup?
That is part of this project.
Oh,
However, I'm not including that because we're on their schedule, right? We're on the schedule, it just hasn't happened yet, but that wasn't part of the original scope. We just had some extra funding.
I know you mentioned, I didn't know.
So, we are on their schedule to dredge, under using the funding that we have for the project, because we did come in a little under budget, so, and we have some extra funding. So that is being paid for with the existing funding, it won't come out of our cash. And then the wastewater treatment ponds are also scheduled to be dredged, but I don't know how far out it is. And last time it was like, oh, we'll be there in November. And I didn't ask Terry or Kyle for an update, so.
What's that?
End of August.
Oh,
So,
sweet.
yeah, so we're not closing out any funding yet, because, again, we want to get the dredging and stuff under, but the original project that you guys approved, done.
Cool.
Yeah. And that's all I have.
Sweet. Anybody else? All right. And let us move along to committee reports. Montezuma County Commissioner is not here. Region 9 update.
That meeting is tomorrow.
Oh.
I will be taking that meeting, 4 hours, but I'll be taking that meeting because both Nick and Jason are out of town.
Okay. All right.
So I will provide them with the information that I'll give you.
Okay. CDAT TPR? Oh, hasn't met yet. Montezuma County Planning Commission update.
No meeting since the last.
Okay. Mancos Creative District update.
So I attended their Monday meeting virtually from Colorado Springs. There's a little bit of an echo, but I coordinated with Chelsea on some notes. The Memphis Opera House vision survey results they're in, and they are using them for the next steps in the visioning process. They have an August 5th meeting with the consultant, Ayers, I think, AYRES Associates. July 26th, they have an invitational fundraiser to support the cost for the consultant, silent auction, of photography, and those will be on display at Opera House on the 27th. They had the second annual Mesa Verde Visitors Conference last weekend. There's positive feedback, and their vision is to expand it and hold it in Memphis next year. Then December 1st they'll have art market at the Memphis Opera House and at Fence Line. They are trying to exercise proactive multiculturalism and reach out to local organizations. And they're trying to provide an opportunity for a more diverse participation in the art market.
Good.
And that's the whole update.
Okay. Did they have any comments about or updates on the mural that was supposed to go on Lidwell?
No.
Okay.
But I can ask.
You know what?
Thank you.
Only because, I don't want, I'm sorry, but I'll ask Jason to ask. So that I can keep those rules clear. Because we haven't had a chance to deep through that.
Yeah.
Okay.
David and I think we're gonna meet with Chelsea at some point, and then Andres and I will meet to talk about the chamber.
Okay.
We just haven't had a chance yet. I'm so sorry.
No, totally fine. And on my email, I don't have jury duty tomorrow, so I am open to meet with Chelsea tomorrow.
Okay.
However that shapes up.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Just keep me posted and I'll do it. I will accommodate you all.
Okay. Memphis Valley Chamber update.
Andres is in.
Memphis School District update.
There was no meeting.
No meeting. Okay.
Next one's in next month.
All right. All right. So we'll move along to discussion and action items. Trustee Richard Tokar resignation letter is first up, and I think that we should accept it for 3 years from now. 4 years from now. We'll table it. Yes. Do we need to take any action or?
We do.
Okay.
We need to take some action. And I don't know if you guys want to discuss it, but I did give you all a sample recommendation. If the letter is withdrawn or something changes, I'll give you another sample recommendation after your session.
You're not going to withdraw your letter?
Look at him grinning over there.
You or Richard Tokay?
It's okay.
That's my fault, sorry.
Yeah.
Trust me, guys, I love what I did. I'm not very good at it, but I have other things coming along in life right now, with the grandson coming down the street.
Oh.
So I thought it was in my best interest to put all my effort towards him.
Yeah.
Instead of,
Neat.
Well, we
that's where I'm at.
appreciate your service.
I've learned a lot of stuff. The biggest thing I learned is to keep my mouth shut all the time.
Really?
When did that happen?
I could say a lot more.
Well, like Brent said, we really appreciate your
But
efforts.
that's what the attorneys did, to help me keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
No, in all honesty, I do appreciate the time I've spent with you on this board.
Yeah.
Good luck.
And if they move or find a place, who knows, I might come back.
Yeah. We may be still looking to fill your position, so we'll appoint you to
I wish I
it.
could do that, but any of that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So seeing that Trustee Tokar is not going to withdraw his resignation, I look for a motion.
I move to accept the resignation of Trustee Richard Tokar and direct the town clerk treasurer to advertise the vacancy.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Will the clerk please call the vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Brett McWhirter.
Aye.
Trustee David Payton.
Aye.
Trustee Daniel Hennett.
Aye.
Trustee Richard Tokar.
I can't vote for my own bill. I said, damn.
All right. So we have 3 yes votes, 1 abstention, and so the motion passes. Yeah. All right. So next item is Stray Dog LLC DBA Moondog Cafe liquor license.
Yes, Stray Dog LLC, also known as Moondog Cafe, has applied for a hotel and restaurant liquor license. Their application and everything does comply with our town code. The marshal's office have no objections, and they have been told quite a bit that they have to make sure it does not go out into the public right away with all that outdoor space they're planning to do.
And that's where the bakery was, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, they are only licensing the inside of the bakery.
Okay. All right. Any questions for staff? Any comments? All right. Well, I look for a motion.
I move to set the parameters of the town of Mancos town limits for petition circulation for hotel and restaurant license application for Stray Dog LLC, Moondog Cafe, and set a public hearing for August 28th for licensing decision.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Will the clerk please call the vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Brett McWhirter.
Aye.
Trustee Richard Tokar.
Aye.
Trustee David Payton.
Aye.
Trustee Daniel Hennett.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. The next item is the proclamation procedure amendment. Heather?
So I missed this workshop, because I was on vacation, but I did receive some feedback that the board wished to change the existing proclamation procedure. So based on the feedback that I received, I've given you just kind of 3 options to get the conversation started. This is solely at your discretion and solely your decision. So whatever feedback you give me as a board, I will draft the ongoing or upcoming revised proclamation procedure, and then I will bring it back to you for approval, unless one of these is exactly what you want. If somebody can make a motion that says, I want option A. You know what I mean? So depending on the results of your discussion, that will determine our next steps for this.
Okay.
So this is now solely in your hands.
All right.
Yeah, I think maybe just define what town business means a little bit better, essential town, that would be my only feedback. Because we were just, I think the consensus was, the goal was trying to protect the town from legal risk and save a little bit of work. So we don't want to be entertaining, different proclamations. And so just I think just the language there, maybe a little more specific, because I think that was part of the problem with the last policy, was there were some gaps in scenarios as they played out. The language didn't really cover what might come up. So I think just trying to more clearly define what essential town business is. Like, instead of just giving an example, could just clearly state it and, have some definitive, hey, it needs to meet this standard, so that we can feel comfortable, not entertaining proclamations that, don't relate to essential town business.
Okay. Thank you. Richard, any outgoing words of wisdom?
What I remembered of the discussion, we were talking about, like, the tree proclamation.
Mhm.
Anything that does with funding, a proclamation we have to make to get grants or funding for the town, financially, that's kind of what we were discussing last meeting, wasn't it? I'm still okay with that, as far as that stuff, anything that's gonna affect the town financially, or how would you say it? Like our tree program, you know, if we don't do that, that affects us in that way. I mean,
Thank you. Brent?
I would be happy with option B, just adding on that last part, that first sentence of the last paragraph of the option A onto option B would be specific enough for me, I think, where it says the town of Mancos will only issue proclamations required by funding agencies and or to meet certain requirements, such as obtaining, maintaining certifications. I think that would be suffice for me instead of related to town business.
So just that paragraph.
I would say the town of Mancos will only issue proclamations required by funding agencies or to meet certain requirements such as obtaining or maintaining certifications.
I mean, because it's still got to come amongst us.
Right.
I mean, it's a decision of the board.
And it's, I mean, as far as like town of Mancos business, really for us, it's all about the funding is what we're talking about when we're talking about that business.
Or statute, you know.
Statute or
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, that's the only thing I could see is that really affecting us is the, the Tree City one.
Yeah. David?
Well, Brent beat me to it. Okay. But I was actually going to say like a combination of option B and the second paragraph of option A, but really the first sentence of option A of the second paragraph is a lot more succinct. So, what he said. Brent said.
Okay. Is that enough to?
Did we make sense?
That's enough for me. So what I'm hearing is you want to say, you want your proclamation procedure, whole thing, to say the town of Mancos will only issue proclamations required by funding agencies and or to meet certain requirements such as obtaining or maintaining certifications.
Yeah.
Full stop.
And so what impact that will have is it won't be a board decision necessarily because we're removing the whole voting and everything. So we'll be, so we're limiting the type of proclamations and then they'll just be read into the record.
Correct, and what I would say is, and this isn't necessarily over here, because this is for public consumption, but behind the scenes, what I'm going to do after this, and make sure that all of the department heads know, if we need to issue a proclamation, for example, Tree City, then our staff report is going to say, this is required to maintain our Tree City certification.
Yep.
If we're required to issue a proclamation for whatever reason, usually, and for any other reason, we're going to say this is required because, whether it's a statute, whether it's the funding agency, so staff, you will never decide whether a proclamation is on the agenda. Staff will need to bring that based on our timing requirements. And then our staff reports will tell you this is why this is required. You will still have the ability to deny the proclamation. Somebody gets a lot of parents says we hate Arbor Day and we don't want to do Tree City in the future.
Okay,
and
so
you will be required to do that because you can still decide if you want that proclamation.
okay.
And then staff will again adjust accordingly. If you did say, you know what, I'm not doing a proclamation for that Dole application, we don't submit the Dole application. So you still have some control over whether or not the proclamation is approved or not. But staff will be bringing them to you based on our schedule anyways.
Okay. Does that sit right?
I think it's a lot cleaner.
Yeah, I like it.
So do you want to make a motion tonight to finalize the proclamation procedure, and we'll just take it and update it? Then if you wish to no longer see this item on your agenda next time, then I need something to say, I move to amend the proclamation procedure to the town of Mancos will only issue proclamations required. Okay?
And we're legal there?
You're legal.
I make a motion.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
I make a motion to amend the policy for proclamations to read, "The town of Mancos will only issue proclamations required by funding agencies and/or to meet certain requirements, such as obtaining or maintaining certifications."
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Will the clerk please call the vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Brett McWhorter.
Aye.
Trustee Daniel Bennett.
Aye.
Trustee Richard Coca. Trustee David Payton.
All right. Motion passes. Next item is water supply adequacy analysis discussion.
Oy.
So, staff's been working on this for a while. We've talked, everybody knows we've got water concerns and we want to make sure we have enough and how do we know we have enough for development. And so this is provided to you, not because there's any action required tonight, but I wanted you to have it. And I kind of gave you a synopsis of the staff report. Currently, we have enough water rights, enough water available to infill within the town limits with no concerns, including all of our vacant properties, such as the one on the west side of town. Where we need to stop and think moving forward is if we are looking to annex properties in that do not come with water rights.
Yeah.
Not that we can't, but it will, according to this document, require some more thought and process.
Yeah.
The other thing that it stated is we are currently limited on production capacity due to our filtration system. But that's because the engineers don't always know everything that staff is working on internally, and the filtration discussion as phase 2 is going to start next year.
Yeah.
So the other thing I would say is there were some cost estimates in here. By the time we get to each one of these phases, those will need to be updated anyway moving forward. So they are included in the document. I do not want you to have any heartburn over those. Because we'll do a little bit more due diligence on it.
Because by the time we get to them, they'll double anyway, so we can have our heartburn
Well,
then.
in the water plant, like if we upgrade our filtration system, one of the questions that I'm going to have is, so we just spent quite a lot of money on this water plant. Are we good for another 20 years? I mean, barring some catastrophic change outside of our control.
Yeah.
Are we good for 20 or 30 years? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we do our due diligence on these projects, but I did want you to have this
Yeah.
information because I do think that it's important for you to have it. I'm happy to answer questions, do some research, bring information back. But, so you all let me know how you'd like to proceed.
Yeah. So I have a question. When you say that we're set for build out, basically, does that include, I mean, because we've basically allowed ADUs through a code amendment almost anywhere in town.
Not everywhere, but yes, it does include that. It does take
Okay,
that into
okay, so you took that,
consideration.
okay, or they took that into consideration.
To the best of our
Okay.
abilities. Again, we don't know, is everybody in one in, is nobody? So.
Right,
But
right.
we do include that in the, we include that in the discussions, they include that to the best of their ability in the calculations.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, all right. David, any questions, comments? What you got?
Trying not to be terrified of the cost estimates.
Don't even, just ignore those costs.
I did have one question for clarification of the raw water irrigation system, where they say that the irrigation in the parks and schools is 21% of the town's annual potable water consumption. Is that the town as a whole, or the town of Meekis as a governmental entity, 21% of that water?
The town's.
Okay.
And with that raw water irrigation system, that has come up, that discussion or potential project has come up multiple times over the years. And it has always been decided, we've always decided not to move forward. The cost, the difficulty of doing it, that type of thing. Not to say it will continue to be discussed, but that I specifically talked about that. Catherine is kind of based on my history with the town and said, I'm not looking forward to that. I'm not going to recommend that to the board. However, because it comes up over the years, I'd like you to at least include that information in this memo. So that way, anybody coming after me, if they want it, they know that the town's discussed it.
Yeah. Thank you. Richard?
This is all great to me.
No words of wisdom?
I mean, there are numbers and there's calculations. I just don't know how they can figure all that stuff out and put it on a piece of paper.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, isn't it?
is very amazing. I've been sitting here just laughing at this whole thing.
Yeah.
And it all depends on snow load. Everything depends on how much snow we get throughout the winter.
Yeah. Daniel, anything?
Not really, no.
Okay. Brent?
So when we did our walkthrough of the water plant up there, the western side of the building is what we're going to eventually look at expanding on there.
Yes.
That would be where we would add more filtration.
We currently, and this is not set in stone, this is staff discussions,
Mhm.
and again, once we sit down with actually, with engineers and who knows what direction we'll take, but staff's initial kind of thoughts on this are, we have a filtration train, and we can revamp that, and then the plant is already piped to add another train, which would increase our production capacity, potentially for cost savings based on what is in this document. So that's what when I say we're gonna start talking in 2025, Terry and Kyle will start doing their own research before we retain an engineer or whatever. We'll be doing some research ourselves, but yes, the plant is already set up to add another filtration train. Our existing filtration train does need. So that's what we're looking at internally, just in our regular, as things come up discussions. But that's.
And then the average, the daily production is what, 600
and something.
60,000?
660 or something thousand, somewhere
around there.
But our plant is rated in what we should be producing is 1 million gallons a day. And what's holding us back is that filtration system.
Okay.
That's where that's based.
So along that question, so in further down the plans, 5, 10, 15 years, another tank to be installed? You're gonna need more storage. If you get more houses, you're gonna need more storage.
I don't know if we have space for it. That would have to be something that we would have to consider. And that would potentially come with annexation. Because that's when we forever had that one tank.
Right.
But when they annexed in the entire Creekside subdivision prior to development, which just annexed in as one long piece of property, part of that agreement way back then was we can't produce enough water for this entire plant subdivision.
Right.
So the developer and the town partnered on that second tank. So those are the types of things that we would be discussing with the potential annexation
With more growth.
discussions and developers.
And more growth. Right now, we have enough volume.
Correct.
Right.
So those two tanks combined hold over 1 million.
No. 440, 330.
700 and some thousand, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be 100,000.
I think it's 770.
That's 770.
440 or 330 or
Okay.
430.
So right now, if we are, say we're doing 650 a day, if we're making 650 a day, so we're still 120,000 gallons below capacity of those tanks, full.
Correct. And as we produce it, we throw it out.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not holding that all the time in there. I get that. Yeah.
They call that just-in-time inventory.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, especially early in the morning and late in the afternoon, those things get pulled up pretty hard.
Oh yeah.
So,
Things are staying pretty full.
So we're keeping up.
Yes.
We're keeping with demand right now. Good.
And
Okay.
we're not anywhere close to 600,000 a day.
Okay.
We're only doing 300.
usage.
Yeah, usage.
Good. Good. Okay.
So,
It's been raining.
I will take
Yeah.
my lead from you all as to, do we want to do something with this? Do you, are you happy with the information now? We have it, if we need it, you can tell me, hey, I want to revisit this, or, so you let me know how you want to proceed with this.
Richard, words of wisdom?
It's always gonna be nice to be able to do stormwater than we need.
Yeah.
And we're at that point right now, but we're not gonna be at that point very much longer.
Yeah.
So I'm really thinking that we need to move forward with filtration, but we also have to worry about the other end of that filtration.
Yeah.
So I just don't know which one's got more priority.
Yeah.
That end or that.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's this end down here, but
yeah,
we do have a plan for it.
Well, and we'll be working on both projects like we are now. We finished this phase 1 this year, so phase 2 will start next year.
Right.
Whether that's a discussion, whether that's an RFP, we're not sure yet.
Yeah.
But there's no point in us starting it this year,
Right.
just because we don't have the staff capacity at this point.
right,
We've got a new employee up there, they're being trained, we're running short-staffed, so that's why we're gonna get through the design and engineering with the wastewater treatment plant, and once we get farther in that process, we can pick up starting this.
sure.
Could,
Okay.
could this be a workshop maybe in the spring for us to revisit this document and discuss kind of our goals for it next year?
You know what I can do is I can put it on retreat for 2025.
I think that'd be good.
And
Yeah,
then you guys can, if you, again, beforehand, let me know if there's something specific. Otherwise,
Right.
I'll do kind of what I did tonight, which is, here's a summary. You guys
Yeah.
let me know what you want.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Let me know
what
what
you're
Because you said you guys are going to start talking in 2025 about filtration. So maybe by then we've got a little more information on what you guys have discussed. And then we can kind of get some more information from you guys on what you've at least found out. And then we can kind of discuss what our goals are with that too in mind.
David?
I'm still slightly stuck on 21% of our water goes to your heating. Park and the schools, and after spending, I don't know how much time on my own yard, xeriscaping and trying to like stop using water, I just wonder if there's an opportunity rather than raw water irrigation system, like trying to implement more xeriscaping, more drought tolerant plants.
They put
We
in
live in a
turf at the
desert.
school. They still have to water that turf in the summer.
Yeah, but you look at their yard around the school, it's all.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying, they put
But
turf.
they pay for it.
Yeah,
Their football field is turf, their practice field is turf,
Yeah.
and they still water it.
right,
And
'Cause they have to keep
they
it
pay
cool.
for it too.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Danny?
I don't have anything.
Okay. Yeah, I think I like the, not really leapfrogging, but I think we should deal with it sooner rather than later. You know, don't blow it off for another 15 years and then, you know, whoever's on the board then really has an issue. And I like how you're, you know, switching focus back and forth between the water and the sewer plants. I think that makes a lot of sense. So, yeah, but I agree that I would like you all to talk about it in 2025 or maybe early on so that you're ready to fill us in and get some input from us at our retreat.
I wanted to give David an update and remind the existing board members. We had a discussion about xeriscaping, water replacement, and that kind of thing. At a couple of workshops, and we had a turf expert on our board prior to this election. So we can always revisit those programs. One of the things that he told us though, which I hadn't even considered, was grass does assist in keeping things cool. So if you rip it all out, it may increase the heat, and I'm not a professional. He's much more eloquent than I am on that topic. But that we have discussed turf replacement programs and xeriscaping and that kind of thing. So what I've done moving forward is there was no turf replacement program put in or anything like that, but I'm working with the conservation district to potentially put on some public meetings as to here are some drought tolerant things that you can do. You don't have to replace all of your grass, but here are some drought tolerant things you could do. We've talked about having like a public workshop in Low Park, for example, where we cut out some turf and say, these are the plants that you can do for your second, your soil, your second, to drip irrigation to use the least amount of water, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
I've been talking to Sensa, and it just hasn't happened. I think what's gonna happen is when the budget is done and things slow down for staff a little bit in the winter, I'm gonna revisit that with her so that we can do that in the spring. But just to give you some history as to, we have talked about it, here's some things that I'm doing kind of behind the scenes that haven't hit the public yet. But we're happy to, if you guys want to talk about that further, we can.
Yeah.
But just so you know, there are some things in there.
One other weird thing that I want to throw into the mix is, as you're researching, as you do, we keep having that come up with irrigating with raw water. And then we also have stormwater management keep coming up. And is there a way that we can combine those two things? And don't worry about answering, but it might be interesting to supplement. I don't know how you would do it.
I will look into that. I don't know if it's legal for us
Right.
to collect water.
Right.
That would normally go to the river.
Yeah, that's.
I don't think we can do
That's
that.
what I'm
It's
saying.
just like rain barrels.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just like the rain
Yeah,
barrels.
the water belongs to the state.
Right, but they legalized rain barrels.
To an extent.
For,
There's a
you know.
limit on how much you can use or how much you can collect though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
David would be busy for a long time.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, while we're moving the stormwater through stormwater drains,
We suck it out
Can
and
we
use it to irrigate.
throw it on the land, I don't know. It was just a weird idea. But yeah, we probably wouldn't be able to store it anywhere.
I'm sure that there's someone, right, you know what, I know somebody who I could just have a quick, hey, are we allowed to do this? And that person can say yes, no, or no, no.
Okay.
So I can include that. I might not bring it back to you guys.
Yeah.
But I have a note to do that. Okay.
Yeah, for later. It was just a weird idea that popped into my head.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so did you get what you needed from us?
I did, and I'll
Okay.
put this on there. The only other thing I was gonna say is now that you all have seen this, I'm gonna find a place to put it on the website just so that people, maybe on my development page or I don't know where I'm gonna say it on
Yeah.
the website, people. But I am gonna post it now that you all have seen it. It's always been public record, but I have deliberately posted on the website. I wanted you all to see it, to be able to answer your questions first.
You'll be able to tell who diligently reads it because they'll call you and say, $29 million.
Yeah, I don't know what it, but I am gonna post it, so that when developers call us,
Yeah,
or when it's discussed with commissioners or meetings or whatever.
Right.
So it's right here, here's factual info.
Yeah.
That you guys can look at it, if you have interpreted it, we're happy.
yeah. Okay, moving along. Town of Mancus staff 2025 work plan adoption.
We talked about this a little bit, I think at our retreat or maybe a workshop, staff put together the items that we would like to see in 2025 based on previously adopted capital plans and just knowing what's needed in our department and equipment replacement schedules and that kind of thing. So this is the final draft, and you all actually prioritize those for us. We just gave you the list, and you all prioritize those for us.
Mhm.
So this is that final document, and I'm just, if you have any changes, happy to talk about it, but this is what came out of that retreat when you all prioritize those items.
Okay. Anybody have any comments on what you see on page 3? Or if you're in the PDF 68 or 87? The administration clerk and treasurer. Anybody have any comments, reprioritization?
Kind of what we gave as direction.
Okay. Anything on community and economic development? Okay. Parks. I have a question, not on the projects, but on the bullet point, community center. Staff manages rentals of the space. Doesn't Make Us United do that now?
I think we're doing it.
Okay, all right. Just wanted to make sure it wasn't a residual holdover. Okay, all right. Anybody else on parks? All right, Marshal's office. Short and sweet. Thank you. Public Works, sewer and water treatment. Anybody? Nothing? Okay. The fence around the water plant, isn't it already fenced?
It's just on one side and it's like here.
Oh, so it's just along the road? Oh.
Yeah.
So we're, yeah.
Okay.
It's a facade.
Terry's working on that.
Fence.
It's a decent one, I didn't think
It
it
is.
It's
was.
not the entire property, because the property is huge, it actually
Yeah.
goes up the road and everything. This is just,
Just to protect the plant.
Just to secure,
Yeah. Okay.
should be secure in the water.
All right.
we've been talking about that for a while, but we
Yeah.
also, this phase one was started in 2017. So we waited, we didn't want to put up a fence while construction was trying to happen. Checks were being lived in now and that kind of thing. So now that phase one is done, we're gonna start looking at fence. And that may be, we're actually working on that now. This may be a carryover, if it is completed, we'll let it out.
Okay. Anything else? All right. Moving along. 5-year capital plan adoption.
And you're.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's right. All right, so I look for a motion and a second.
I'll move to approve the 2025 work plan for the town of Mancus as presented by staff.
Second.
We have a motion and 2 seconds. Will the clerk please call the vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Brett McWhirter.
Aye.
Trustee Richard Sutton. Trustee David Bateman.
Aye.
Trustee Daniel.
Aye.
All right, next item. Town of Mancus 2025 through 2030 5-year capital plan adoption.
Same kind of story as the work plan. Staff starts it, you guys see it, get the opportunity to add, delete, remove, change, or whatever. And then if you are satisfied with this document, we just need you to approve it. If you want changes to it, we're happy to make those changes. You think of something between clean and retreat.
Any comments, questions, concerns, edits for administration clerk and treasurer?
I do have a question.
Oh, sure.
We talked about a rebrand in 2031.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things you could do is you could approve this with the amendment to add under administration, rebranding research for the town or something.
Mm-hmm. And put it as a,
priority number 5.
okay.
It's up to you all, or you could wait until like next year.
Mm-hmm.
2026 to 2031 or whatever it is.
You guys want to direct staff to do that? Or do you want to wait for next year?
I think we should just wait for next year.
Wait, okay.
Let's talk about it at our retreat as well.
Yeah, I agree with
Yeah.
Brett. Just leave it.
Yeah, I like that. That's a great idea. Look at us. All right. All right. Any comments, questions, concerns on community and economic development? All right. Parks. Marshal's office. Okay. Public Works, sewer and water treatment. I had a question, just kind of informational. So you've got hydrant replacements, replace 11 hydrants throughout town. Is that our total number of hydrants, or that's just part of? Okay, because it seemed like a very tiny amount, and I was like, wait, is that all we have? 80 some total, okay. All right. Okay, thank you. Public Works Street Division. Mm,
On page 9, under Public Works, Water, Sewer, and Water.
Mhm.
In whatever motion you're gonna make, could you please ask that the water plant filter media and pump upgrades be changed from priority number 4 to priority number 1? Because that will drive our work.
Okay. All right, so Public Works Street Division. You already have an equipment replacement plan, right? For streets
Yes.
and Public Works, okay. So on the equipment replacement line at the bottom, it says replace outdated equipment as needed. Should we put planned or are we gonna stick with as needed?
We can change that.
Because we can always change the plan.
Well, but as needed, like if his backhoe goes down and it's not
Mm,
feasible to replace it.
yeah,
That's always said
So
as
as needed
needed.
would probably be
Yeah.
a better word for that.
yeah,
Because we took off a lot of the things at the last retreat that were on like just a schedule. We took those off of the plan. So
Oh.
it wasn't as
okay.
cumbersome.
Mhm.
So we didn't have things on there that we're just always doing. We took those off.
Okay.
As needed is kind of an emergency button.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you credit for having a plan. So, all right. All right, so I look for a motion with that one amendment.
I see that. Beginning part. I move to approve the 2025 work plan for the town of Mancos with the following amendment. That we change the water plant filter media and pump upgrade from a priority 4 to a priority 1.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Will the clerk please call the vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Brendan Carter.
Aye.
Trustee Richard Toza. Trustee David King.
Aye.
Trustee Dan
Aye.
All right. Next item and final item on the discussion and action items list is CDOT Long Range Planning Project Discussion.
So Terry gave me some info, and I already did. So, CDOT has advised that they are starting their long-range planning through 2050. Bear with me, I'm still new to this whole CDOT, TPR, planning, streets, everything. So what we need to do here is we need to figure out what projects are important to you all and the town and the staff, so that when we get to the section of the project, as the Mancos representative in our region, I can say, we want these projects. It is a little more involved with that than that, but that is kind of the bottom line. So what, for example, Terry and I have spoken, and I would ask that the repaving of Grand be put on their maintenance schedule. That the repaving of Maine be put on their maintenance schedule. This doesn't mean these are things we're gonna pay for. There are opportunities for us to partner, just like we are here. But what items do we want to bring to CDOT's attention to say, hey, don't forget about Mancos, we want this. However it needs to happen, whenever it needs to happen.
So the property that inside Memphis, you got Grand Avenue, you got Main, you got the post office road.
Frontage roads?
Right.
Railroad.
And you got the jug handles over here, common calls, and they come all the way to the edge of the park.
Yes, all the frontage roads.
Right. So those, like the front road in front of the PED, Grand Avenue, Main. Railroad looks pretty good right now, for now, but those roads all need to be on your radar to push.
Yes. Okay. One other suggestion from Terry was, and again, I don't know quite how this works, but it is something that we talked about as a board and staff. When the 88 project is done. Sidewalks on the north side of Grand from Main Street to the town limits of the airport.
Say that again?
Sidewalks on the north side of Grand
Oh, yeah.
from
Where the walkways across the bridge.
Main Street
Yeah.
to the airport.
I think that'd be a great idea.
I agree. I've had phone calls on that on my other job, so.
I'm sure you have.
That's probably one of the ones you won't get, but.
Probably not, and again, I don't know, this is my first time in seeing this process and procedure. I wasn't even aware that we did give them projects that we wanted to do. I thought they told us what they were doing.
Yeah.
So, and it's just started, even the planning piece of this is a long-term project, but I wanted to sooner rather than later, trying to get your feedback. And then I will be honest, I'm gonna go back to my contacts at TPR and be like, forgive my ignorance. How do I, here's the list, what do I do next?
Right.
But at least we'll bring it to their attention.
Yeah. Brent?
Because they're needs.
I hate to say this, but the bridge on Grand,
Oh, okay, so that's gonna be something different because, and this is something that I learned in this bridge. Off-system bridges are, and even FHWA and CDOT bridges are inspected and rated every couple of years. Unless or until the rating gets to a certain level, it is not.
they don't worry
When
about
the rating
that.
gets to a certain level, it's just automatically put on for replacement.
Okay.
I can absolutely bring it to their attention, but there may be more in-depth items and additional items that it has to be in order to go on the plan because it's a bridge.
Cool.
So this bridge is completely different from that.
Yeah.
All right, this bridge is part of their,
It's on system.
it's in their system.
Yeah.
Because this is what they call 160D. All right, that's 160A out there. So this is a business route. This was the original route to Lancaster built. So that bridge is in the stream. But they got, I remember one time they had 35,000 bridges in the state of Colorado, and 15% of them were in need of repair. So the odds of you getting something on this bridge, unless it falls, as a failure of some sort.
Well, and I can ask.
Right.
I can ask CDOT, say like, hey, this is
Sure.
your bridge, you own this.
Yeah.
What is the current rating information and at what rating does it, I can bring back some
Yeah.
information.
I just know how long that last one took and just,
Well, this one won't take as long. That was off the beat path.
Yeah.
This one's not.
Yeah.
So if this one goes critical,
Yeah.
they'll repair it.
you put that in writing before you get out of here.
Brent, did you have other?
I like the fence along the highway. That was another one that I reiterate, that part would be good.
I just heard for 60.
And then-
Everybody needs that, because they think it's something. I don't know what the
I don't-
chances are of putting it on there.
I also don't know if this would be a part of it, is we've talked about another light
At mine.
intersection at Money. They're not gonna do that.
It's on.
We have an access control plan with CDOT for that specific item. So I believe 2 days. We can either wait for that location to develop, in which case CDOT will require certain intersection improvements based on the type of development and traffic count, which is what before the Dollar General project fell apart, there were some improvements required. Or, and this may change in the future, but historically, the town of Vegas can build it, and then CDOT may potentially take it over, like we did with pedestrian crossing. The town of Vegas and CDOT got together, because they said, hey, we need this, because they're crossing right here at Beach Street, takes them straight to the school. CDOT really was kind for us, because not only did they say, sure, go ahead and build it, but we'll give you top funding, and we'll maintain it, and own it out here itself. So that would be another type of agreement. I do not think, and I can ask if the board wants me to, but I do not think that we have a chance of putting a light at Monty on their plan. I think this plan, and I confirm it, is for things that are already here. And do we want to see them improved, or do we want to see them maintained, or something like that? But I can confirm it if you want me to. The other piece of this is, I'm gonna give them all of these suggestions, but I've already been told, rightfully so, yeah, we gotta take care of all the state. If you ask for 10, you might get 3.
Yeah.
I don't think they're-
But if we only ask for 3, we only get 1, so, you know.
So, that would be the other piece, so, I also would ask, what is most important to you all? Do you want brand, do you want name, like, how would you rank these items that we've discussed?
Yeah,
So
hang
that
on.
I can rank them.
Hang on just a second. Daniel, did you have any ideas?
Well, you mentioned the crosswalk, and I don't know if there's anything we can do about that, but David and I talked about this too, just briefly. It was like changing the color of the lights or something, because I mean, I use that crosswalk all the time. It's very dangerous. I mean, it's a very dangerous crosswalk. So I don't know if there's anything we can do there, but cars just fly by when the lights are on all the time. They don't slow down. They don't even notice people are there frequently. I mean, we've been almost run over with the kids more than a couple times. I mean, it's a high alert. When we go there now, it's like, all right, you stay, we stay because, rocks fly off tires. We got all these gravel roads around here. So, we try to stay back and wait for everybody to notice, kind of thing. So I don't know if, and I think David said something about when we were talking, they were thinking about changing the lights to a different color, or the sign maybe.
Currently, the lights are yellow embedded in the sign panel, and taking hats off. The plan on CDOT side as those RRFBs, those ped crossings need to be replaced, we'll replace them with the lights that are the beacons that are below the sign panel. Because right now, you have a yellow light that turns on the yellow panel. Visibility's not great. I can also say that may help, that may not help. The other ones across the state, like compliance, yielding compliance is low, very low. And
The thing is, a lot of those crosswalks like that, patrolling would help make those better. I mean, look at the one at McDonald's, what they had 2 kids hit there in the last 3 years. And it's just a bad location, for one thing, on the slope of the hill, for one thing. Everybody's not paying attention.
Yeah.
I like the idea of speed management and like projects to alter the highway. And I know I'm going to regret this. But,
Yeah, the characteristics we were talking about. Yeah.
So that people, I don't know on the access control plan necessarily, but ideas I've had in other places is to cramp down the lanes a little and add curbing and just narrow it up, and then that may sort of self-enforce people to drive slower. And then slower people
They're going to notice more.
should be able to see heads better.
Or when the lights come on, the severe tire damage blades could come up. Because somebody would only go through that once, or try to get through it
Or
once.
have those concrete poles that come up when those lights come on.
Yeah, the bollards, they get triggered. And
So, a little history. CDOT, we have to be careful what we ask them for. Because we've had this discussion before with like traffic enforcement and speeding and 160 and that kind of thing. So CDOT was like, sure, we'll get to that. And they came out and they did a traffic study. And they increased.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. Yeah.
They are not necessarily super open to a lane diet because it's a state highway and people are supposed to move through there.
Yeah, you don't want to ask for a survey.
No, and they're not open to anything with regard to the giant right of way, because I've asked before, can we bring this closer? Because again, people will slip up. So there, we are very limited with what we can accomplish by asking CDOT.
Mhm.
The access control plan was drafted 8-9 years ago now, but in order to create access to the highway, which many slow people have right in and right out where the post office is, potentially like Monty. So there are some plans, but I just would caution you to be very careful if we choose to take some action, be very careful what we all see on board because it may backfire on us.
Yeah, it's unintended.
Be careful
Because they
with
are
which
going
one.
to follow their own
Yeah.
NFHWA rules and requirements and regulation and construction. You know what I mean? We can always ask, and I can unofficially ask them.
Yeah. And the traffic control plan, I was at the meeting, at least one of the meetings, and they did a really cool thing, and there were like 30 or 40 people there, if I recall correctly. And they had these clickers and the slideshow, and so they'd say, okay, for this part of the highway, what do you like best, A, B, or C? And, and so these are ways that we could build whatever, and so we, everybody was like voting on all these things. And so that's kind of generally how we came up with the traffic control plan. So it's pretty cool.
So a couple questions. You guys talked about a fence. You guys talking about the barrier fence that are into the highway? Those aren't coming down.
Mm-mm.
Those are a safety hazard. Because if you didn't have them, those kids would be crossing.
I'm not talking about taking it down, I'm talking about
Making it
refurbishing it,
something
making it.
Well, they repair it and replace it all the time.
Yeah,
I mean, I see those guys out there all the time. But
yeah,
what we need to do is get the kids to stop cutting it or stop climbing.
yeah.
And if they don't climb it, they go underneath it. I've seen them do that.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if is there any need for ped crossings
Well, I mean, we can electrify it.
further to the east?
On the
That's
ACP,
true.
there's one that talks control over to PD right there. There's a ped crossing plan there as well.
I love the idea.
Some people down here
I'm-
saying why, but there's.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the answer is going to be no because I'm trying to visualize a solution and I can't. But when you're coming up back onto the highway from the P&D, it's like straight up. And when people are going off the highway, you kind of like, well, I have a Honda Civic, so I have this much clearance. And so I have to like really wait till the highway's empty because I got to crawl down that thing. And I don't know if there's any way to affect the grade of that or the slope. I don't see how there would be,
Well,
but
if you raise that like you want, then where's the water gonna go?
right,
Right into the front door of the B&D.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, because it's a hard thing in the wintertime too, and Justin and I had a
Yeah,
conversation.
people are always knocking down that stop
People
sign.
going west, they'll get out there in that turn lane at the brewery, and they'll go all the way down to 184 and turn. That's not the way that's designed.
Mm-hmm.
And Justin said he was gonna try to do some patrolling there and try to educate people, not so much beat them up, but educate them, because that's pretty dangerous there. I don't hardly ever come out that way. I go down the line
Mm-hmm.
and going out, but as far as prioritizing the street, I do grant.
Mm.
Because there's plans for maintenance to do the jug handle in front of the liquor store.
Mm. So that's going to be an M project.
No,
Maintenance project.
The jug handle in front of the B&D and stuff gets breaking up really bad. It's probably gonna be kind of a mill and replace scenario, and then work on that drain that's next to the highway there that goes all the way down
Okay.
to the part that the town manages. That's probably what it's gonna be.
Okay. All right. Then I second the light at Monty if anything could happen. Or in lieu of a light, left turn lanes. Because there's so many times that I do things that I probably shouldn't just to get out of somebody's way that's hauling ass west. Mm-hmm.
That money is dangerous.
It's horrible. I don't know why they just stopped right before it.
So this is kind of off topic, but CDOT's not gonna get rid of any of the right.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I don't know if you guys heard, but there's plans, and he may have heard, but long-term plans, that this is gonna be the next high road. Because I-70 is closing way too much
Mm.
in the wintertime, and then I-40, this will be the next high road going east and west.
So interstate. Great.
But trust me, it's probably not gonna be in our lifetime.
Right, yeah. It'll be the next one, but it's 80 years from now.
That's probably their 25, 50-year plan.
More than that. I think more than that.
Well, they got a lot of acquisition.
Yeah. Okay.
The only other idea I have is I feel like I see heads walking on the north side of 160, like
Yeah.
a lot, and could be a sidewalk project to connect all the way down.
Slash bike trail.
Multimodal.
Multimodal.
That's a good idea, sidewalks on the north side.
Yeah.
Because right now, people walking from there to the trailer park, they're walking down Sugar Road.
Yeah.
So can I say something?
Yeah.
The issue we're gonna run into with sidewalks on the north side is the Nolan pipeline. That thing leaks all summer long in the CDOT right.
Right.
Irrigation line.
Huh.
So, I mean, I think that would be a
Just a small
nice,
fix.
ditch project with CDOT. Because anytime you put weight on that soft ground, you're gonna ruin any sidewalk unless you put it right on the asphalt. But I don't know if CDOT would be willing to do that if they're looking at expanding the right of way area.
Or the driving.
The expansion of the highway is a long way.
Yeah.
But I agree, and Nolan's water line, from my past experience, is charged all the time.
Yeah.
It's never off.
Maybe a floating sidewalk.
Well, there was talk that they wanted to do an overhead bridge sometime, to even up the price.
Then we're looking at great pedestrian crossing. It started at 78,000 and then 368,000 by the time we're done.
Oh my.
Well, and when we're talking about pedestrians, remember we're dealing with people. And when you give them an option, you're gonna take the easy way out.
Yeah.
Like during school year, we do a lot of enforcement on pedestrian.
Yeah.
60% usage of the light. The rest of them just cross.
Yeah.
And they see.
Yeah, they just.
And there's a ton of kids across down there at the big turn going to Family Dollar. I mean, I waited for 3 kids on a bike 2 days ago to cross the road.
Yeah, it's scary.
Is that like a school educational opportunity to, because I know that there's an urban myth that the buttons don't do anything. The buttons do work, I can assure you, and like, we need people to push the buttons, then wait, and then go.
Well, and then focus on traffic to make sure they're stopping.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
problem is the weight.
Well,
Yeah, right, wait for the traffic to stop, yeah, the lights are, because sometimes it takes them a minute.
So I'm going to just outside of this planning project, I am gonna reach out to CDOT and say, hey, look, water system bridge and go, give me some of that. I'm also gonna reach out to them and say, hey, I've received feedback that the lights are hard to see. Are the lights yellow and yellow?
Mm-hmm.
What's the plan?
Yeah.
Because it's, one of the reasons I think that we work well with CDOT is if we can speed up the replacement of those lights to make it safer, and they can give me a cost estimate, maybe we can share, maybe, I don't know. But I'm gonna just, in the course of my normal duties, do a little bit of research on those 2 specific items outside of this planning. And then on the planning piece, what I'm hearing is the Grand Avenue repave, Main Street repave, lighted parking, frontage roads, fence on Highway 160, sidewalks on the north side of Grand from Main east to the town limits, and maybe sidewalks on the north side of Highway 160. Is there anything in here, if they said, look, you only get one, what do you want it to be? Can I get a consensus on what we want that to be?
Grand.
Okay. What about number 2, just because?
Main, for me.
Main. Yeah.
That's your most highly trafficked road that you have, makes the most appearance.
Yeah.
So those are kind of, I've got a little bit of feedback, and like I said, there may be an opportunity, I've never gone through this process before. And I actually stole this CDOT graphic from one of the presentations that they did. So there may be an additional opportunity for me to come back to you all. They may just say, look, you don't get all of those, you get 5.
Yeah.
In which case I may be able to come back to you and say, okay, now what 5 do you really want? They're going in. So I will hold this, use this during the process, and then as things change or as I get updated, I'll keep you all posted. Does that work?
Sounds good. All right. Beat that to death. All right, so that ends our action items. So items for our August 14th meeting, moving swiftly through the year. July bills and claims, 2024 public art proposals.
That was changed.
Okay.
They moved to August 28th, and Vegas United update for you all moved to August 14th.
Where's that one?
It was on the 28th, it's now the 20th.
Oh,
That's now tonight.
Oh,
So take off
okay.
public art to put on these.
public art, okay. Oh, yeah, sorry. Fiscal update discussion, really long day. Second quarter work plan and financial update, and a resolution to be determined in support of Montezuma County sales tax, and social media policy discussion at the workshop.
I'm looking for feedback on that resolution. And do we want Main Street discussion? Do we want to add that to potentially the workshop? Can we do social
I think
media
so.
take the entire hour?
I hope not.
So we'll have Main Street.
I have a heartburn with that resolution.
It's up to you all.
But it benefits the town.
The municipalities.
Does it?
We kind of talk about it.
How so?
We may not have to give as much money to Montezuma County to help them fund the service work.
We don't give them any money for that.
Yeah, but they also help patrol outside the area.
Yeah, but they kind of screwed us on our own process as well.
Well,
Yeah.
whether that's this administration or not.
Yeah.
I understand.
Well, and that will be part of the discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just have a little trepidation with that one.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to happen. I was asked, there was discussion among managers, and so we said, you know what, I'll ask my board if they're interested in doing the resolutions.
Yeah.
So it's totally up to you all. Again, it's a resolution that you guys completely get to decide, yes, we want to do one or no, we do. Totally up to you all.
Anybody else have any other items for that meeting?
Is that on the next agenda, this resolution?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we can talk about it.
Yeah, we can discuss it.
Yeah. And
So
we
put it
can,
on the agenda, and then again, in your recommended document, if you want it, here's your motion, if you don't want it, state no action.
Yeah.
That's our- okay.
Yeah. All right, so Richard, I look for a motion to adjourn. All right, we are adjourned at 8:24.
We'll never adjourn as fast